All right. Welcome everyone to our first interview for learning experience design for change makers. I am so excited to have our first guest talking about her nonprofit and what led her there. If you don't know, if this is your first time meeting me, I'm Renee Koster. I'm a learning experience designer and strategist, and I love helping nonprofits, museums, entrepreneurs who are purpose driven, create those programs and courses that really leave an impact on their audience, their learners, students, and clients. So I'm so excited to have Elise White with me here today. Elise,
Hey,
introduce
hey,
yourself.
hey. Hey, yay, everyone. I'm Elise White. I am actually also a fellow podcaster. I co-host the Queen Beauty podcast on all things wellness and adulting. But the reason why I'm here today is because I am the founder and executive director of the Let's Change Forward Foundation, which is a brand new, amazing nonprofit offering access to resources within workforce and wellness, and a program designer and developer within workforce and wellness spaces in my for-profit side of my brand.
Wonderful. I'm so excited. So, one thing I've learned from designing learning experiences across different settings, from university, advising to client programs, is that the real measure of a program isn't just completion, it's what people do next with it. That moment when the learner takes what they've built inside a program and carries it into the world is exactly what we're designing toward. And when we first met last year, you were going through my framework challenge to level up your internship program. What have your students gone on to do after leaving the program, and what have you done since working on it?
Oh, wow, that's a big question. I love that question. So I want to go back and thank you for having that framework challenge. I
Oh,
think the biggest takeaway, it was very insightful. I was in the midst of administering a career readiness training that's part of internship program that I operate as the workforce program director. And we operate this program in cohorts. I've been part of this program as a workforce program director consultant since summer of 2024. So almost 2 years now. And every like 3 times a year, we offer this program. It's about an 8 to 10 week program. And at the time, it evolved within this career training that I'm the facilitator for. And this career readiness training, I was in the space where I'm like, I want to make a difference. I want to see the outcomes measured from the survey experience. And, you have all these questions when you're designing something that's in its early phases on, whether or not it's hitting the mark. uh, your framework really helped me break down some of the learning material so that it was more tangible and get specific outcome based feedback from the feedback surveys. So whatever your insights helped me implement those
oh,
immediately.
I'm glad.
In a way, one of the things you had asked to get to your question about what kind of outcomes, right? I was able to go and specifically address some of the experience feedback to the businesses who were hosting the interns and the interns themselves. So, two things led to where we are now. We had businesses at an all-time high that hired the students after the
Oh,
summer of last year.
that is
Yeah.
fantastic.
So the outcomes of placement into long-term job career opportunities, we were tracking, and they were tremendous across the summer and the fall of last year. And we're in the midst of the spring program, and from the feedback, you identify opportunities to always enhance, right?
Mhm.
And so this year, we're doing something new for the students to take what they learned. They have to do a reflection presentation at the end of their
Oh,
internship program, and there is a showcase. So they're submitting a presentation. They are also going to be presenting on what they learned, not only how they impacted the organization they were placed in for an intern role. The bigger piece is how did they plan to apply it from a student's perspective that aligns with their career aspirations.
oh, wow. That is fantastic. What a
I'm
great piece.
so excited. So that's
Yeah.
coming up next week. The students just this today's the last day of the spring cohort, and
Okay.
the students have to submit their presentation by Wednesday, and they'll be presenting on it on the 15th of June.
That is, oh, wow. How
So even if
excited are they?
placement isn't the outcome, there is a bigger outcome of a reflection, right? And I always tell
Right.
you, reflection is crucial, not only to yourself, the people who receive you, right? Reflection
Yeah.
external, and then really kind of having that sit with self-awareness moment.
Right. What a wonderful, like, and they can take that with them to, even if that they didn't get placed with where they were interning before, like
Yeah.
having that reflection piece to continue growing and look for another opportunity. Great addition.
Thank you. It's exciting. And it's funny because I'm like a kid. Like I'm so excited. It's like a
Yeah.
toy, right? It's a toy project. But that's how you also know that you're doing something that you're very passionate about.
Yes. Yeah. And I remember that from the challenge, like you showing up every day. That was intense. We did that all in 1 week. And
It
you
was a
showed,
5-day challenge.
yeah, but you were showing up and giving us like live
Real time.
feedback.
Yeah.
You'd come in the next day and be like, I did it. I did it. So,
Oh, I remember by day 5. Oh my gosh, I do remember that. By day 5, I had implemented the feedback and got results
yeah.
and was reading off the results from the student. Which that coincides with what we're going to be talking about with our purpose profile because I'm a builder. That's my gift. And I was
Yeah.
literally building.
You were.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You are part of my story. You are part of my story. This
Oh,
is
wow.
great. I love that.
Oh, this is wonderful. And it didn't stop there, right? You have continued building from there. Like from what you were telling me earlier before we hit record, is that this program kind of started igniting a spark for you. And you mentioned we're both members of Automate Your Hustle. It's fantastic. I'm going to give a shout out because they are
That's
fantastic. Teresa and Marquise,
amazing.
fantastic. During Teresa's office hours, you were talking about how your nonprofit that you launched. So tell us more about it, about that, how it got you there.
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting. There were a couple different things that birthed the nonprofit. It
Okay.
wasn't like I woke up one day and here we go.
Yeah.
You know, there's a need for access to advancement opportunities on
Yes.
either getting a job, if you're in a job,
Hmm.
advancing in that job, being connected to the right people. And that's not always equally yoked. That access to growth, access to opportunities. Opportunities are everywhere, but then you got people who can't find them, right?
Right.
And so there's a gap that I identified through the internship program, and it had something to do with funding, a need to fund people to be beneficiaries of this, of not only this program but just organizations in general. And I'm a consultant by trade, and so I do a lot of subcontracting, going into organizations and designing and implementing the program. And a lot of them are nonprofits or community-based organizations where there is a need for funding. And in a perfect world, in fact, I'm going to share a story.
Yeah.
My dad told me a few months ago that when I was a little girl, I was about 5 years old, and I looked at him and I told him that I wanted to be rich by 30 and I wanted to feed hungry people.
Oh,
And here's the kicker. So I'm not rich by 30. I'm 40 and I started a nonprofit on right. And I just turned 40 about a week ago.
happy
So,
birthday.
but the nonprofit was identifying how to create access for people who are in this in between state where I call it feeling stuck and I'm a workforce wellness expert in my consulting business. And so
Yeah.
people are not well when they are stuck in their
Right.
work or in the things that they want to do and intentions for their life. When they feel like they have something that gives them a little bit of excitement or passion, but then they stop because there's all these barriers that keep happening around it that keep them in this bubble. And so the nonprofit was birthed out of a recognition that in order for me to be fulfilling my purpose in what I do, because I love doing meaningful work and building and designing programs, there needs to be another element of sustainability, which is funding. And I love helping other people. I mean, most of my work is all designed to help people, to provide an impact in either career-based, wellness-based services, and their experience matters. So I had this idea to have a connection circle where people help each other and operate in their gifts. And again, shout out to Automate Your Hustle, because around that same time, those tech calls Marquise leads, as
Yeah.
education, a lot of education around AI apps.
Hmm.
Another friend of mine had been operating in AI apps as well. And so I had been like, okay, let me dabble in these apps, and I built a plugged in for purpose assessment using leveraging the partnership that I have with one of my closest and nearest dearest friends. We worked together. I had an intake form, leveraging the intake form to understand your gifts and navigate your season, and then help you move forward in those seasons. And so the Connection Circle program is built foundationally in my nonprofit, the Let's Change Forward Foundation. But that connection circle has a process that our program offers the tools to get you there. And it's really meant to help people push forward where they're feeling stuck when they're operating in the things that they're passionate about, their purpose. And a lot of that is evolved around what they do, right? There's so much identity in what you do, especially about work, but not necessarily a lot of identity around your natural gifts.
Yeah. I agree. And thank you for sharing with that assessment with me beforehand, because I got a chance to take it, and I was blown away by first the questions that you put in there and the guidance that you gave, like full permission to be honest and take your time. I didn't feel
Yeah.
like it was, it was, and I really, it involved a lot of thought to be able to answer those questions.
Yeah.
But then the feedback that comes afterwards, after you go through that, I didn't just find out what my gifts were, which strategist and visionary, and then builder was that third, like little one.
Okay.
Which the strategy and the vision didn't really surprise me, but then that insight about being a strategist and visionary that came afterwards,
Yeah.
and the experimental actions,
Yes. Those
those
experiments. Yes.
those are fantastic. Talk a little bit more about what inspire, like what they are, and how you came about putting those in there, because those are fantastic. That's not something you usually get when you do any sort of assessment. It's usually like, oh, here's your info.
Here's a little bit about you. Thank you for telling me what I think I already kind of knew.
Yeah.
No, the assessment is intentional. My word for 2026 was intentional. And very, very intentional is founded in purpose, right? Being
Yeah.
purposeful in what you do, having it apply to your goal. My business is all about ready, set goals, right? I'm my consulting business. And so I'm an innate like coach, right? And so this is an assessment that offers a little bit of a coach aspect to it of, okay, now
Yes.
that I know, how can I try it? Almost like the internship where we were sharing, okay, now that I've got hands-on experience in an intern role, now let's go and apply it with this
Right.
presentation, right? So it's like, okay, how do I apply it without shutting down? So getting the second level thought. And I love that you said that you had to be thoughtful with taking the experiment or taking the assessment, because the experiments are almost like try before you buy. Let's try this out and see how it feels based on what I said. So I did say this in my assessment. And so I'm going to stand on that. And so here are some experiences that, or experiments that you can test. Experiment sounds almost like a scientist testing out their hypothesis, right?
Right.
So you are your own scientist of yourself, essentially, as you try
Yeah.
out these different functions. And then that secondary level of support is now, okay, I tried these experiments. Some of it out worked, maybe some of it didn't. But I really need to push past where I want my barriers, and I need to get in connection with others, because being in connection with others are foundational to sponsorship and having your names being in rooms that you're not connected to yet, but for the connection circle. And I'm a
Right.
natural connector. So it's really like, how do I build many connectors for people to see that opportunity for others?
Right. I love that piece. And I know I saw that at the bottom and out. How are those connection circles put together? What do you, is there a criteria?
I'm excited to launch our program. Oh, the launching of this program, I'm going to share first announcement of some two amazing partnerships that I have with
Oh,
organizations that have are allowing this space for the assessment and a connection circle. In the future state of the program, there will be, a a connection circle that is birthed innately from the assessment. But if you're launching anything, you got to start somewhere. And I'm
right.
excited to share two organizations, community partners that I have this weekend, actually on June the 7th, coming up in a very short time.
Yes.
I will be leading a small cohort with a women's group called Fit and Faithful. They are hosting
Oh,
their
wonderful.
annual Purpose Powwow. And the name is just timing. In fact, you know who one of the co-leads are is Coco
Yes,
Chanel
that's
and
right.
Jessica Foya. Jessica Foya is the leader, and Coco supports this Fit and Faithful group with intentional. She calls them real talk, holy walk conversations, and they
Yeah.
are amazing. First of all, shout outs to Coco because she's super creative and finds a way to engage people right at the level that you know keeps their interest and sparks their open safe space to talk through different things. And so this assessment fit perfectly for that. So I'll be leading a thoughtful guided discussion in a connection circle with the assessment for them. So that's my first announcement.
Oh, that is exciting. What a great place to start with a launch. Yeah.
Yeah. And then my second partnership, and that's coming soon, but we have an agreement and a green light with the Soul Sisters Hike 2, based out of Atlanta, Georgia. They do mindful walks in the greater Atlanta area, and they have a community group of about 300 plus women, high functioning women who are looking to, de-stress after a long week, right? And they host these
Yeah.
mindful and intentional walks. So I'm excited to partner with them in the upcoming months and more to come.
Wow. Those those are some great places to be partnering with.
Absolutely. So my goal is to offer connection circles that have a twofold focus:
Okay.
wellness, and
Yep.
that's community support with people thoughtful, and then workforce, which is more career-driven professionals, getting them connected in the rooms that they need, and also innately helping each other in spaces.
Oh, that's so needed. Like especially in business and
Oh,
corporate,
absolutely.
sometimes it can feel like, a race and isolated. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, I'm excited to see the growth of your circles.
I'm excited. I'm excited to get started, and I love building. And
Yeah.
in fact, you shared your results that you got strategist slash visionary. I got
Mhm.
builder slash encourager. And I'm a natural cheerleader of other
Yes.
people. And I love to build programs, and it's almost like if you like I just get excited. There's a line in Love and Basketball, random. The movie Love and Basketball is one of my favorite lines. I used to play basketball when I was in high school, my whole life, like most of my life until I became an adult. But I loved that movie so much. And there's one part, this is how I feel when I'm building, by the way. It's so random. But there's one part in a movie where she is live in action in the game and she's dribbling the ball and looks like they're about to lose. And she's talking to herself. And Sanaa Lathan character, she goes, I just got to get there. I just got to get there. I just got to. And then she scores. And then before she did, she got the ball stolen from her. She got the ball, she kept getting that ball stolen, and it was like little setbacks in the game. And then before you know it, she's just got to get there, got to get there, got to get there. She scores. That's how I feel when I'm building new programs. Literally, I start
Yeah,
talking to myself like, I just got to get there. I just got to get there.
that's fantastic. And you do. Like you have built some amazing programs.
It's all good and good fun and good faith. And this is so like, I love that it's based in a nonprofit. And I've gotten my feet wet. I do serve on a nonprofit board. It
Mhm.
is a scholarship program. My background is in commercial insurance. Got to give them, I'm always going to be risk management adjacent. Okay. So I always got to give them a big shout out. But my background, I'd spent 13 of 17 years in workers' comp insurance and then
Right.
went into project management and program design and workforce. So it kind of, here you go,
Yeah.
in the space of commercial insurance. And so I am on a board for the data program, Diversity and Talent Alliance, where we design a scholarship based program that educates students, actively enrolled students in college and high school on insurance risk management with an emphasis on workers' comp. And so I've
Wow.
been, been on boards, even when in corporate, Girls on the Run of Georgia.
Mhm.
I served on their board for 2 years. They create social and emotional wellness programs and
Yeah.
experiences for girls to be joyful, confident, and healthy. So I've gotten my feet wet on a board, but I've never founded a board. I'm sorry, founded a nonprofit.
How exciting.
Yeah.
Now, I know I haven't built nonprofits or things like you have before, but I know when I create something like if it's a course or a program or the challenge, I think my favorite part is those aha moments
Yeah.
where people you can just see their face light up or their eyes go wide and they're like, oh wow, I got it. Like what is that moment for you? Like that's my
Hmm.
favorite moment in my programs. What is that for you? What's your favorite moment?
When when I get it or just any
Like
moment?
any moment.
It's got to be the feedback.
Yeah.
I truly operate under the the emphasis of feedback is a gift. It is truly a gift. I don't believe in constructive criticism. I don't believe that word. They should toss out that phrase. Feedback is so wonderful. I want like I live for the moment of feedback. That's why I was so excited about getting the survey off on that 5-day challenge and seeing the outcomes based on people's experiences with interacting with the training.
Yeah.
It is how I continue to develop new and stay kind of cutting edge or front end on new opportunities to enhance programs. It is something that gives me sweet joy when people give me feedback. So I'm always like, give it to me straight. I want to know. I want to know, even if it's not something that you think I'd want to hear. I want
Right.
to know it because if I don't know, then it's going to be mediocre. I want it to be amazing. And I love, and I guess my aha moment comes from I live for the people experience. Like I want people to feel amazing with a resource or a tool or a program or, being part of something. And even though you can't ever always make everyone happy, having awareness of what does good look like and how do you keep it good and what does bad look like and don't do that again and what you need to just keep doing. Like that's really dope. It's really cool.
I absolutely love that because as someone who has worked very hard to be okay with feedback,
Mm,
that is that is an amazing mindset to have around that, because I was always someone who was afraid to hear it. Like, so I'm gonna take a page from your playbook there.
Do
And
it, girl. It's
yeah,
empowering. You know, the first time I got bad feedback from a manager, I cried. And she told me I needed to work on emotional and maturity. I think I was really young in my career. And I was like, I didn't mean to do it wrong. I didn't want to do it wrong. That was so sad. And then I started to like take it and think about like, you know, in a work setting, that's where I really got comfortable with feedback. But I could actually in real time, like if somebody tells me something, I could, like you said, real time, I could say, you like it like this? Look at this. Based on what you said, this is what I've done.
oh
And
wow,
then like see their reaction, and it became rewarding for me.
oh that is incredible. Like,
Yeah.
I that is a gift to be able to take that feedback and apply it in real time, like right there in front of them.
Yeah, and then work on it. Like I've had leaders tell me these are the things that you need to work on, and then I'm like, okay, all right, all right, game time. I just got to get there. I just got to get there. I just got to get there. Okay, let's work on these things. Okay, it's like it's a thing for me. I don't know. Maybe people should adopt it. I never even considered it as a gift. So there you go.
Yeah, it is. I have absolutely loved having you on as a guest. But before we go, this series is
Yeah.
all about people enacting change. So I want listeners to know who my guests really are as
Okay.
individuals, as well as their organizations.
Game time. What you want?
So you work in, you help with wellness and the organizations that you're
Work.
partnering with. Sorry, their names just I know who they are, but the
Oh, you're fine. So I work with workforce and wellness
yes,
organizations. I have two
yes,
new partners with two wellness organizations.
yes. Those are the one. Yeah. Fit and Faithful. And what was the other one?
Soul Sisters Hike too.
Soul Sisters Hike too. Okay. So you've got to recharge your own cup. How do you, after a long, busy week, what are the things, like, I know after a busy week, I like to just retreat. I need my quiet. I need the book, garden, maybe binge a
Yeah.
show. But what is it that you do to make sure that you're staying well-rounded and take care of your wellness?
Yeah. And I work hard and I play hard. I
Okay.
work hard, play harder, right? So I just got back from celebrating my birthday. I was in Bahamas. I
Nice.
completely disengaged. I don't know what's going on when I'm in the Bahamas, right? I like phone, what's email, who's doing it, right? I don't care. It has nothing to do with me, right? And so did that, enjoyed that, came back feeling recharged. I was a little bit tired, a little jet lag for a couple of days, but for good reason, right?
Yeah.
And then today, you know, I'm more of a I have to because I move around so much, doing activities like vegging out and watching TV, that's just not something I can do without an audience. So I'm gonna have a movie night tonight because
Nice.
that forces me to be engaged and like watch the movie. But I have to have TV watching with an audience.
Okay, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, some key things that I do. I mean, I'm all about any activity outside, outdoors, or social activities that give me like joy and fun. Singing, dancing, those things are like my jam. And then when I want to retreat, I got books at the house. At nighttime, I just finished like a 30-day journal, which was really good. Shout outs to Jamie Miles. She's a licensed clinical mental health professional that is on my board for the Let's Change Forward Foundation. She had a 30-day whole woman journal book that was really fulfilling. I was doing it at night, 30 days before I turned 40, and just really writing it guided prompt questions that turned into affirmation statements for myself. And that was really heart filling too. And that filled my cup up too.
Oh wow. That's What a great timing to do that journal before a milestone birthday
Yeah, for sure.
and then getting to go and vacation.
Yeah, I've had a lot of recharging. I know, I'm busy. Like you said, we're all busy. I'm in the midst of so the Let's Change Forward Foundation is the nonprofit. It's the philanthropic arm of the community part of my full-time for-profit consulting business, which is Change Forward Industries. So with Change Forward Industries, when I started, had workforce, wellness, program design, and a community that I didn't know exactly what it was. So that's really what the nonprofit taking over, that arm
Yeah,
of it, the community piece. And so because I'm on a world tour, the Change Forward World Tour this year, and I have tour stops, I had a lot going on between January and the first weekend, April. And then I had downtime for real from like April through the end of this month. And now it's about to pick back up in June. But I
yeah,
definitely feel like I got a chance to really recharge and get myself together for what's coming.
that's fantastic. I cannot wait to see how your nonprofit grows and your Change Forward Industries grows. And thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for being here, Elise.
I appreciate being on the show, and I'm excited for the growth of your podcast. We got to give a shout out to you, Renee. I think this is your first podcast episode. So, yay!
Well, thank you.
Amazing facilitation. Great way to keep me engaged. I'm excited. I just have big hopes for you. And I know that nothing happens on purpose, right? I'm sorry, nothing happens by accident. Everything happens on purpose.
Yes.
So nothing happens by accident. There was no accident that you and I were on the same call. I needed an opportunity to launch my brand, and you needed a guest speaker to be on
Yeah.
the call who had the nonprofit. Like, how is
I
that
know.
crazy?
Meant to be.
Another shout out to Automation Hustle for creating that space.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right, take care.